When it comes to their social media, people are messing up by asking their mom, their cousin, their brother, their sister, their auntie, the lady down the street, all of these people to be on their Facebook business page. Your personal page, whatever, have as many people as you want, but on your business page, quit asking your family and your friends to be in your business page.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, Tonia Tyler, and I'm excited because we're going to talk to Miss Cecelia Morris, and she talks about when your circle becomes a dot. But before we dive into the conversation, I want to welcome Miss Cecelia to the call. My friend, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to do this with you.
It's a pleasure to have you finally connect with me. I've heard so many great things. I always like to tell the audience like where we connected. I'm on a networking call. You were on the call. You are highly spoken about all the great things you do with your business. So before we dive too much into that, we're going to talk about your journey story to where we are today. And but before I dive into that, I always like to turn over the mic to my guests to let them tell a little bit about who they are and what you do, and maybe the biggest lesson you've learned in the last year.
There's so many, but thank you again, Tonia. I am Cecelia Morris, also known as the Digital Marketing Maven, and I teach business owners how to build their brand and their business online using digital marketing strategies. My main hubs are Facebook and Instagram, but as I tell my clients, I have a presence everywhere because you want to claim your name in every space that you can. So again, my goal is to help business owners see the success they desire in their business by using online marketing strategies. And as you said, we met through an amazing meetup group with an amazing host to that group. He has a knack for bringing people together, and it was through that we got connected, and I just love your energy.
I love your energy too. I was like, oh my God, it's like great people like attract each other. You know, it's like magnet. Well, I think magnet, that's more above my science, above my pay grade, but we were connected. That's all that matters. So
yeah, yes.
Yeah, so I love your story. Like I said, you do the Facebook ads and Instagram, and you're doing great things across other platforms and helping so many people. I'm hearing about the senior issue or new senior venture that you're in. But like I said, I'm always hearing great things, but I always want to know, like, how did this really become a journey for you? Because like you said, I think one of the biggest things you said, you're successfully unemployed and you're loving it. So how did that become your thing? How did that become your journey to here?
Well, that totally leads into our topic today, when your circle becomes a dot. So when you think about your circle, it's who are the people that you interact with on a regular basis, right? You got, the center of your circle is you, and then there's concentric circles out from that. And the farther someone is out from you, being the center means that relationship is not as important as a relationship that's closer to the center. And for me, in my center, the people that were right around that outer rim of me were my mom, my dad, my best friend of almost 40 years, and her mom, who was my other mother. And in a span of 15 months, I lost all four of them. And it was as you can imagine, it was extremely hard. And in the middle of me losing them, I also lost my job. So in a matter of, again, 15 months, my circle became a dot, and it was just me, and I was the only one there. And, part of it was because I was just going through the grieving process, right? And it's really hard because in the beginning, you get what I call the funeral talk, right? The funeral, everybody's like, oh, we gonna be there for you, and we gonna check on you, and we gonna make sure you're all right. And then 2 weeks later, everybody goes back to their lives, and they forgot all about you. And then the other part of that is, when people do events and they invite you and you don't come, they eventually stop asking you. And like I tell people all the time, don't stop asking, because you might have asked somebody 300 times and it's that 301 where they're ready to say yes, because grieving is a process and you can't rush it, and you have to go through it. The hardest thing for me in the beginning was the holidays. I don't want to come over your house for Thanksgiving or Christmas and be around you and your family because I'm reminded that I don't have family, But it took me 4 years, and that fourth Christmas, I was finally ready. But by then, everybody was like, oh, well, she's going to say no. They just quit asking. So I tell people, don't stop asking, because people get to a place where they're ready to be around people at a certain time. So anywho, in this 15-month window, lost my platform and my job. And I was just like, where am I going to go with this? And the thing about the job is, it wasn't that I didn't like my job. I've been working as an engineer for 25 years. I was at the top of my game. I'm highly educated. But it just became a crossroads in my life, because it's 2018. And 10 years earlier in 2008, I call it the shot heard around the world, the housing crisis where President Obama had to come in and save the big three and all of that. I was like, oh, because of that. And I'm like, here I am in the same place 10 years later, and I'm not getting any younger. And am I going to be here again 10 years from now? And that was when I made the decision to pivot and carve out my own lane in this entrepreneurial space. And part of that, which has been really helpful for me, is making relationships with amazing people like you, because now my dot is turning into a circle again.
I love it, because like you said, I'm sorry. First of all, I want to say sorry for your loss, obviously. But what I wanted to say, and I was getting excited about, was when you talked about you start asking yourself questions. I guess when you're going through the reflection period, and you change happens when people stop the time to reflect. And I like how you asked, am I going to be in the same place in the next 10 years? So that had to be a mindset shift for you to say, what can I do differently? Is that what you're sharing with me? And what did you do to make it different?
Well, it was totally a mindset shift, because I've been a slave to the paycheck my whole life, right? I mean, that even though I've had my business since 2003, it took me 15 years for me to actually step into my greatness, right? Because again, what's more secure than a paycheck? And even though, I think I was off work for about 8 months from 2008 to 2009 before I got the next job. But again, it just really was a time. Well, first of all, let's say I was still in the grieving process. So I lost my job in the middle of me losing my family. And, when you think about a job, they only give you so much time, right? It's like 5 days for a parent, 3 days for a sibling, 1 day for an auntie or a cousin. Anything outside of that, take PTO, So just the whole process of me getting to a new normal, knowing that my family had gone to glory, that was a process. And it really allowed me to just think and soul search to figure out, what is it that I wanted to do next? How am I going to carve my lane in this entrepreneurial space? What is going to be my thing? And I accidentally, on purpose, landed with Facebook ads. And the reason why is because marketing is my education. I got my bachelor's in engineering, my master's in marketing. And the thing about marketing is that if you don't tell people who you are, what you do, and who you serve, you're not going to be in business. And a lot of people don't understand that marketing is essential to any business. I mean, think of Progressive. How many Flo and Jamie commercials have we seen, right? But how often do you buy insurance? If you're like me, you check it out once a year to make sure you got the best rates and you keep it moving. But those commercials are on continuously. And that's why I wanted to, at the time, be for my business. I wanted to be on continuously so people knew me. And because I put myself out there, then that's when people started reaching out to me. And my little bitty program started as a 7-day thing where you're going to have an ad up and running in 7 days. And over time, it evolved into an 8-week program, and then a 6-month ascension and a 12-month masterclass. And that has just been the blessing of this, is that I was able to take the time I needed to really figure out, how am I going to carve out a space for me in this entrepreneurial world.
Right. I love it. And I'm picking, like I said, I'm picking up juicy gems all through this conversation, which leaves us to about a halfway mark where I want to say, Cecilia's been dropping nuggets. If you've been picking them up, please follow up with a like, follow, or maybe a comment down below, because like I said, she's been dropping gems. And I love how you said it took you 15 years to step into your greatness. So what would your advice be to those entrepreneurs who are just starting their journey? What would been out of something you wish you had received when you started? What advice would you like to have given? Would you have liked to have received?
For me, and I think a lot of people out there who are working full time while they're building their dream, a lot of us, and I'm included, so I'm not pointing fingers. I was this person for 15 years. Because we have the paycheck to fall back on, we don't take our business as seriously as we would if there was no plan B. So I think if you are serious about turning your business into a lifestyle, make it such that you treat it as a business. You know, if you have to work 8 hours for your job, you got to come home, fix dinner for the family, do the homework for the kids. Give yourself 2 to 3 hours a night, or if you can only do it 2 or 3 times a week, carve out that time to be serious about your business. I was never serious until I decided I wasn't going to be an engineer anymore. And when you're serious, what you'll find is that things will start to happen, because once I got serious, everything just fell into place. And this past March, I'm happy to say, I celebrated my 5-year anniversary of being hashtag successfully unemployed. So my advice would be, take it seriously, carve out time for yourself either every day or pick a couple of days during the week where you're going to really work on your business. And by work on your business, I mean money generating activities. I'm not talking about making your website pretty or coming up with content for your Facebook posts. I'm talking about activities that are going to bring clients to you and are going to increase the bottom line and generate some cash.
Right. Like I said, take your business serious. That's another big, we could dive into that conversation so much more. But I was like, I love what you're talking about, and we're going to pivot a little bit more about into your business. So like you said, you started off with Facebook ads. And what would you say to somebody who's saying, we've heard these Facebook is gone? What would you say to those people out there?
I would say Facebook is not gone, and it's still the king of the hill. Every day, out of all worldwide social media users, that's on every platform, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, you name it. Out of all the social media platforms, Facebook still has 67% market share. So that means all the other platforms combined are trying to share that 33%. And if you add Instagram in there, because Facebook owns Instagram, those other platforms are sharing even less of a percentage. So love them or hate them, Zuckerberg is the king of the mountain. And unless you are a B2B, meaning business to business type of business, then your people are on Facebook. It's inevitable. They're there.
I know, right? You say you could have a love-hate relationship, but Facebook is there.
Yeah.
So, pivoting into your business, what are some of the biggest mistakes you think you've seen when people are? I mean, I know you mentioned not taking their business serious, but what are a couple of the biggest mistakes you could see where people are messing up with their social media?
Well, when it comes to their social media, people are messing up by asking their mom, their cousin, their brother, their sister, their auntie, the lady down the street, all of these people to be on their Facebook business page. Your personal page, whatever, have as many people as you want, but on your business page, quit asking your family and your friends to be in your business page, because your business page is there for you to reach your ideal clients, customers, or business partners. So if you ask your mom and them to your business page, then the people who need to see you won't see you, because Facebook is only going to show your stuff to the most active 20 or 25% of people. So if your most active is your mom because she supports everything you do, then that's means your ideal clients are not going to see what you have to offer. So mistake number 1 is quit inviting friends and family to your business page. And mistake number 2 is quit trying to go it alone. Every level of yourself is going to require a level of investment. I like to equate what I do as an entrepreneur to what I did as a professional in corporate America. When I got out of high school, if I wanted to go to work, I could get a certain type of job that just required a high school diploma. Once I got my bachelor's degree in engineering from Purdue, I could command a different type of job because I had the education. When I went back to school to get my master's in marketing and information systems, then I could command a different salary. Each level of growth also required the next level of investment. I spent 30 plus on my master's degree. I spent 60 plus on my master's degree. And then if that wasn't enough punishment, I got my green belt of Six Sigma green belt. Luckily, my company paid for that at the time, but getting a green belt is not cheap as well. So the same logic that we apply to our formal education, we need to apply to our business. And the reason why we get this, why you get a coach is so someone can guide you along the way. and help you avoid the pitfalls and the obstacles that you're going to run into when you don't have someone who's been where you are. And I tell people all the time, the definition of success is find somebody who has what you want, do what they do to get what they got.
Like I said, it's like I like I said, you've been dropping nuggets. I've been picking them up. So, if you didn't pick them up, we can play rewind. But, she's been dropping gems since she started on the mic. And which leads me to my next big question is, what's the one thing you want to leave the audience with if they hear nothing else from what you're sharing with us today?
If you don't hear anything else, again, remember every next level of success is going to require next level of investment. Even when you get to the top of your game, there's still more that you can do. So be prepared to invest in yourself. And the good thing about the investment in your entrepreneurial journey is you can write it off on your tax. You can't write off student loans anymore. So you invest in your entrepreneurial success, it will pay off in dividends, not only in the business that you're able to generate, but in the tax savings that you'll see as well. But investing in yourself is the best thing that you can do, because everything is constantly evolving and growing in this online space. And if you don't stay on top of it, you'll be left behind.
That's so true. So true. So, Miss Cecelia, as we're wrapping up, yes, where can people find more information about you, your services, and what you do?
Awesome. Well, you can find me under my name, which you can see here, Cecelia Morris. You can find me as I have all the real estate, but Cecelia Morris. So if you go on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, it's all Cecelia Morris. And feel free to friend me, like me, drop me a comment. You can join my Facebook group. Just message me and say, hey, what's your group? It's Prospecting Made Easy, automated solutions that work for any business. But again, that would be another piece of advice. If you're getting started, claim your name everywhere. It'll pay off, I'm telling you.
Oh, I picked that nugget up when you first said claim your name. I was like, oh, duly noted. So, Miss Cecelia, we're wrapping up on our 20 minutes. It's amazing how fast this time can go. But I want to know, would you be willing to come back, maybe have a deeper conversation, maybe go into another topic that you want our listeners to know about?
Most certainly, Tonia. You make this so easy and free-flowing. It's like having a conversation with someone sitting right across the table from me. I'd love to come back and talk to you about any topic that I know of that could benefit your audience.
Well, thank you. And again, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for sharing your insight, your wisdom with us.
Thank you for having me.
And I want to remind all the listeners who tuned in, remember, feedback is always welcome. Remember also that the links that Cecelia mentioned will be posted down in the description box. So please make sure you check it out down there. Again, if you've enjoyed today's show, give us a like. And, if you want to get more of the information that Cecelia shared with us today, hit that subscribe button over there. And remember, take things in stride, go with the flow, and create your own path. And we will see you back here on another episode of Coffee with Tea. All right. Bye-bye.